Good afternoon. I'm Bonnie Agnew. We're going to get started in just a minute or two. Thank you for joining. Okay, I'm not going to punish those of you who are on time, so let's get started. Welcome to today's webinar. My name is Bonnie Agnew. I have been working with government clients for nearly 20 years, bringing them state-of-the-art technology and services. And today I'm going to talk about some of the recurring themes I'm seeing while working with small to mid-sized municipalities in North America. I booked you for an hour, but this won't take that long. So you received this invite. Here is what I'm seeing as I speak to your colleagues. They are stymied by these challenges: outdated technology, limited scalability and flexibility, inadequate security and compliance, limited reporting and analytics, lack of integration, inefficient permitting and licensing processes, and limited citizen engagement. So I'll touch upon each of those today. So outdated technology, what do I mean by that? You might know that you're running on outdated technology if you're having those slow response times, frequent systems crashes, or lack of compatibility with modern devices. So we put together these images for you. If you feel like you're living in this era, then it's a sign that maybe your tech is outdated. If you feel like you should be using CDs and getting directions on MapQuest or searching for something on Ask Jeeves, then it's probably time for a tech refresh. The good news is there are options out there for you as a small to mid-sized municipality, and they'll increase your efficiency, security, and scalability. I have an image up here of Microsoft Business Dynamics, Business Central, Microsoft Dynamics 365. Here's a nice shiny laptop and a nice shiny smartphone. So if you want to feel like you're in this modern era, then this is something for you to think about. So speaking of which, here is some information on that limited scalability and flexibility. We're all coming out of COVID. I hope we're all out of COVID now, even though I know that I just had it over the holidays, where 73% of employees want that flexible hybrid work option. They want that to stay in this post-COVID time. And so that job landscape is really changing with more of a need for that hybrid remote work. And you need an ERP that grows with your community. So as your municipality grows, your ERP system should be able to scale and adapt to your evolving needs. If your current ERP lacks scalability and flexibility, it can hinder your ability to handle increased data volumes, expanding departments, or changing regulations. So if you invest in a scalable ERP solution that's designed for small municipalities, it'll ensure that you can grow without the technological limitations. With that, I'm going to move on to this slide about inadequate security and compliance. Moving to the cloud sounds daunting. You may be used to having your information stored in the four walls of your data center. The good news is that the major cloud storage providers such as Microsoft and AWS, they live and breathe this stuff. They have advanced security from a physical security, cyber security. They keep the data that they store safe. And I just came across this fact earlier today. The global data storage market size was valued at US dollars 186.75 billion in 2023, and it's projected to grow to 774 billion by 2032. North America accounted for a market value of $78.98 billion US dollars in 2023. This is a multi-billion-dollar industry, that global data storage. And so these companies, they're doing it very well. And there's a reason why we're not seeing things from AWS and Microsoft in the news about data breaches, whereas sometimes we are seeing that from maybe governments that are victims of ransomware attempts and things like that. So we all do need to be responsible for security and compliance. We know that many cyber attacks are carried out as phishing scams, but at least take the data center, physical security, and encryption take that off of your plate. Here's an image I want to share with you because you hear terms like on-prem and blank as a service a lot. So here's this quick image. You can assess where you are on your cloud journey. So all the way on the left, maybe you have everything on premise. If you're leaning towards infrastructure as a service, there are some things that you are still doing and some things that are managed by a provider. Platform as a service, you're doing a little bit less and the provider is doing a little bit more. And then for true software as a service, that is all being managed by a partner. Now, you're not going to wash your hands and never think about it again. There are updates that are going to come out, but really you're taking that off of your plate, making your job simpler, making the jobs of your IT staff simpler, and letting you focus on what you do best, which is really running the day-to-day business of your municipality, collecting taxes, billing for utilities, whatever it may be that is core to your needs, serving your citizenry. So then again, as a cloud provider managing your software, you're freeing up your resources to do more to serve your constituents. The fourth thing that I hear about a lot when I'm talking to municipalities is limited reporting and analytics. So this topic really resonates with me. I can't tell you how many CAOs and finance directors I speak to who are doing almost everything in Excel. I learned that there's an Excel World Championship, and I think some of my contacts could compete. They are wizards at doing budgeting, expenses, time management in Excel. If this is you, let me tell you that there is another way. Local governments need that data-driven decision-making capabilities to allocate resources effectively, plan budgets, and assess performance. If your ERP lacks robust reporting and analytics features, it's a sign that you're missing out on critical information needed for strategic decision-making. Things don't have to be built from scratch. They can be automatic. You can use these cloud ERP solutions that might have Power BI embedded in them. And you're not leaving Excel behind, especially with a Microsoft-based platform. So you're still going to be using Excel, but Excel is not going to be doing the heavy lifting. Your ERP will be doing those things kind of on its own, pre-programmed. You'll work with the implementation provider to set that up so that you have that reporting that you need and at your fingertips. It's amazing the dashboards that are available in something like Power BI. So these limited reporting and analytics, if you have to bring something to council, it's just going to be a few clicks away instead of you having to build an entire spreadsheet to do that report. Which is a good segue into lack of integration. Because you often deal with multiple departments such as finance, human resources, public works, and utilities, if your ERP is lacking in seamless integration between the departments, it can lead to those data silos and inefficiencies and increased manual work, like I was just talking about. An integrated ERP solution designed specifically for local governments can streamline the processes, improve collaboration, and provide a unified view of your municipality's operations, resulting in a single source of truth. So you need an ERP system that has all systems speaking to each other. You need your taxation system to talk to your ERP seamlessly. And I'm seeing a lot of municipalities that are working in those silos, and then they use Excel to integrate. And again, this can be automatic. It can be something where once you do something in the taxation side, it shows up on your ERP side, and you just press a button to reconcile that. So an easier way is out there for you. So if this resonates with you, that you're doing a lot of things manually or working in silos, then it could be a sign that upgrading your ERP will help you out a lot. I do want to say that if you have any questions, there's a place in the GoToMeeting where you can post your questions, and Justine and I will get to them in a few minutes. So that brings me to 6 and 7. We put these together that there's a lot of municipalities who are experiencing that inefficient permitting and licensing processes, and that leads to limited citizen engagement. So engaging the citizens and fostering transparency are crucial for local governments like yourself. But if your ERP lacks that citizen-centric feature, such as an online portal and self-service portal, you're missing an opportunity to enhance that citizen participation and improve their satisfaction. So upgrading to an ERP solution with citizen engagement capabilities can empower your community. It can increase that transparency and collaboration and promote active involvement. On to Permitting and licensing processes. For local governments, permit and licensing processes are vital for your economic growth and community development. If your current ERP system fails to streamline those processes, resulting in delays, errors, or excessive paperwork, again, back to that manual process, it's time for a change. A modern ERP solution can automate workflows, digitize forms, and enable online self-service portals to improve citizen experience and expedite approvals. And I'm talking about tax notices, applying for pet or business licenses. The citizens, they want to engage with their government in that new and modern way. And they really expect things instantly. When I order something on Amazon, I do expect it at my house the next day or 2 days at the latest. Or I click on it so I can get the $3 or $1.50 if I choose it to be on my Amazon delivery day. But people want to be able to do things on their own time and to do it themselves. So that self-service functionality, we should be encouraging and supporting. It reduces trips to the clerk's office. It gives your clerks more time to work on the harder cases. So instead of just reprinting tax invoices, your clerks can be really diving into the real problems that your citizens are experiencing. And so that leads me to question you, what are you doing to engage with your citizens? I'm thinking that you have a website where your citizens can interact with the government, and that could be like a chat bot. That might be something where they can submit a question and it gets routed to the appropriate people in your government offices. This is something where you can bring in that functionality of the ERP as well. So downloading your tax notices, pay your tax bill online, download a utilities notice, look at your utility history in a graphical format, that push button reporting. That can all exist on a customer, on a citizen-facing website. And if your ERP is not doing that for you now, then there is another way. And I want you to work smarter and not harder. It's kind of a tired phrase sometimes, but it doesn't make it any less true. So let's not bog up your machinery with simple requests. Let's enable the citizens to do that. Which kind of leads me to a little personal anecdote. So over the holidays, my mom, who is 70, and my uncle, who's about 75, they start talking about, oh, how do you pay your bills? And my mom goes into her banking app and she will then send off a check to, the credit card company or to pay her electric bill, whatever it may be. And my uncle says, oh, I always call it in. So he always calls up the utility and says, okay, I want to make a payment. And he talks to an actual person. And that can be really time consuming. And even my mom, who's 70, was like, oh, Raymond, I need to get you on e-billing. I think that we have such a different level of experience and expertise in our citizenry that if we can give those people who really need that time and need that hand-holding, that attention, it will definitely go far in your citizen satisfaction with where they live and who they're doing business with. And then for other people who are very much self-service, let's let them do that. And so it's really cutting down on the kind of problem children maybe that your clerks and so on are dealing with, and making just things so much easier on the back end for them to make sure that everything reconciles. So a modern cloud-based solution can really enable all of that, and it's a win-win for your citizenry and for your employees. So that just leads me to a little bit of a summary. So what are some reasons to upgrade? So that increased efficiency, you'll increase performance and refresh the user experience, bringing new features. So upgrading introduces new features and functionality. Another thing that I didn't talk about when we were talking about the cloud piece is that when you are on cloud software, it's always on one version. So everybody is on the same version of the software. You can't get behind. You're not missing updates. It is pushed out to you automatically. So it really frees up your IT people from doing those things to being able to do things that maybe for different areas of the government, maybe doing more innovation. Maybe it frees them up to get Microsoft certified or AWS certified or whatever it is that you really like to do. And they're bringing that, that talent to your municipality, your government, and bringing you a better class maybe of employees. So it could help you in your talent and retention. So if you're using new modern platforms, then your employees are excited about it. They're investing in themselves, they're investing in you, and it's a great circle of life there that goes on. Another thing specific to the technology itself is the compatibility. So if you upgrade, you're getting that business ecosystem is all in harmony, especially with the system that I work with. It's Microsoft based. So everything that you're doing is going to work in Outlook, where you can go into Outlook and press a button. And if you haven't used this feature yet, like with Copilot and sync to Microsoft Dynamics 365, with a press of a button, you can take a receipt and attach it to a record in the ERP. So that kind of one-click capability really makes people's lives a lot easier, and things don't get lost or lost in the shuffle, because you're moving away from a paper system, moving away from managing things on Excel, and really using all of those tools that you're currently investing in, like that Microsoft 365, if that's the case, to do a lot more work. And then supportability. So when you move to a cloud solution, you're not doing as many upgrades yourself. You're not paying these support costs. It's really something that can end up being very cost effective as time goes on. And then finally, I just would be remiss if I didn't talk about who I work for. So there are a few modern solutions in the marketplace for small to mid-sized government. SylogistGov is one, and we can provide you a fully integrated ERP and payroll and budgeting, plus revenue modules such as taxation, utility billing, licensing, and a citizen portal. So I obviously wanted to touch on that. I had an auto advance on that one. So you can see all of the different capabilities that I'm highlighting here. So I told you that this wouldn't take a full hour. I think we do have a question out there. Let me see if I can click on that.
Hi, Bonnie. I can read out the questions for
Great.
you. So the first question we have here is from Lukeman. I apologize if I mispronounced that. I am in the middle of writing an RFP for ERP readiness analysis. However, I have some departments wanting the municipality to re-implement the existing system instead of going to market. What do you see as the disadvantages of this approach?
I have encountered this before, and sometimes when you have people who are really comfortable with something, they want to stick with it, and that human resource component shouldn't be discounted. But what is the long-term plan? So if you're looking to get something that is modern and scalable and that will grow with your municipality, then you might have to look outside. Something that I've encountered as I'm responding to RFPs is that sometimes I respond to bids and there is no award that takes place. And so I would recommend that you do a market research piece where you're gathering that information and getting demonstrations from different ERP providers before you go through the formalized RFP process, because the ERP providers may bring things up to you that you hadn't thought of before. And it's really great to do that while you're in a dialogue stage rather than in an RFP stage where everybody's just trying to like score as many points as possible and be as compliant as possible. So one recommendation is to definitely engage with different ERP providers, request demonstrations, have that two-way communication throughout the process. And I completely agree with you that getting the buy-in from your different stakeholders, internal stakeholders, is very important. There's something that we say kind of in the ERP space is that a lot of times HR can tank an ERP implementation because they're not getting everything that they want. So being able to say, yes, you are going to use this finance system because you are putting in purchase requisitions and we need to get you on board with that. That's important. Let's get all of those stakeholders on the same page, or have them all in that evaluation process. But at the end of the day, it's your accounting and finance and CFO or CAO that are responsible for the ERP. So I think I kind of went off on a tangent there, but I think that open communication and being able to kind of kick the tires with a couple of different ERP providers is important. And then you'll know, because you've put it out for your market research, what the marketplace looks like, what's out there for you.
Thank you. The next question is, can you share the recorded presentation? And I can answer that. There will be a recording being sent out right after the webinar is completed.
Great.
Third question here, is there a way to just see the software?
Yes. So this is kind of a educational talk kind of format, but I absolutely do have the ability to show the software, do a software demonstration. A lot of times we do the first meeting will be a little bit of a requirements gathering to understand which components you're looking for. For Sylogist.gov specifically, it's very modular. So you might need taxation and not utilities. You might want taxation, utilities, and a citizen portal. You might, there's a lot of combinations. You might want it to integrate with your current budgeting provider or your current payroll provider. So we could have like a 30-minute to 60-minute meeting, understand what your requirements are. What are you using now? What's your goal for your end state? What are you looking to upgrade and what do you want to integrate with? And then we could do a demo and we would walk you through some of the things in the core finance. We would be able to show you what does a tax bill look like. And then another demo that I love doing is with the citizen portal. And when we do our citizen portal demos, like I'll very often make sure that we have the logo for your municipality. The team that I work with, they look up the different forms that you already have online and then show how they can be digitized or shown differently. Because there's a lot of government websites where you go on and you say, okay, I need to apply for a pet license, and you download a PDF. And maybe it's a fillable PDF. That's good. That's like more high tech. And then you fill it out and then you submit it back as a PDF. Another way to do that is in a web form so that you're filling out that information as you go along on the web form. It saves as you go, and then you can submit it and it gets sent in. So again, I'm kind of going off on a tangent, but I do think that it's really important for you to see the software. I'd be happy to show you what Sylogist.gov looks like. We are so proud of the software that we have. And so we absolutely do set up demos.
The next question is, what is the smallest and biggest municipality you are providing with support?
We have no minimum requirement for Sylogist.gov. So I have municipalities that have a population of 2,000 that are using Sylogist.gov. And then we scale up to, we say around 200,000 citizens. And we do that because we're really focused in that small to mid market. There are other providers out there that do a great job with really large cities and towns and municipalities. We are not looking to conquer the big towns. City of New York is not going to use Sylogist.gov, but the town of Hempstead might. Maybe the town of Hempstead is too big, but we are looking for that small to mid-size because we feel like that is an underserved market. And there have been some players in North America that have pulled out of that market over the past couple of years and no longer support their clients. And so we see a gap. And that's one of the reasons why we developed this new modern solution that was based on Microsoft Business Central so that we can serve those small to mid-sized municipalities. So again, no minimum, about 200,000 citizens is the top end of what we're looking at.
And looks like our last question here, does the Sylogist solution offer modules for all functional areas of a municipal operations?
So we offer taxation, utilities, licensing, and the citizen portal. Those are our modules. And then the core ERP, you can choose to have payroll, you can choose to include budgeting. There are a lot of functions within the core ERP that will be there whether you use them or not. There is only one version of our ERP software. And where the choices come in is what do you want to implement? So I was on call earlier today where we said, how are you doing? What did we ask them? I want to say it right. How are you doing POs? And they said, paper. We said, okay. And we said, how are you doing inventory? And they said, I have a spreadsheet. And I said, how are you doing budget? I have a spreadsheet, but they're not ready yet to implement that in Sylogist.gov. So they want to go to the core financials, implement the core financials, and then bring those items on in a future phase. And that's we see that all the time. So it doesn't mean that that budgeting capability isn't there for you, but if you want a services team that helps you implement it, that's when we work with our partners to implement our service, like implement more of the components. Now, I will say What we don't do right now is full on asset management. We have fixed asset accounting. We do not have like work orders in our solution, but we integrate with carriers that do. Frankly, SylogistGov, we looked at doing that. We looked at building it from scratch, and we just saw that there's a lot of players in the marketplace right now that are doing it currently and doing it really well. So just having that connector that comes into the finance system, we felt like that was the best option for municipalities. So go with those asset management, work order management companies, like I won't even name them, but and then do that integration back into finance.
So, oh, it looks like one more just came in here. Is it good to have all functional solution within one ERP or integrate multiple ERPs?
So the way that SylogistGov specifically works is that we have the core ERP, the core finance part of the solution, and that's what's built on the Microsoft Business Central. And then we have our revenue modules that we at Sylogist developed, and they talk to each other, obviously. And the thing about our ERP that sets it apart from like base Business Central, and if this is getting not in the direction that you're looking for, let me know, or send another follow-up question, is that we have made it into a true fund accounting solution. So we have different dimensions, 8 dimensions that you can use. So if you want to set up separate companies within your municipality, and there's a lot of customization that can happen on the ERP side. But then where it's really important is for those modules to then use those dimensions as well. So our taxation and utilities modules use those 8 accounting dimensions to as it syncs back into the ERP. So it's that really close developmental tie-in that I think really sets us apart, and that I think is important for a municipality. So there's a lot of times where you can kind of shop your own best of breed solutions. And like I said about asset management, you should do that and then integrate back into that Microsoft backend with our core ERP. But really the synergies that occur when you're using SylogistGov with SylogistGov payroll, with Sylogist budgeting, with the Sylogist taxation and utilities modules and licensing, and then that citizen portal kind of as the icing on top, it's a great combination. And then I hate this phrase too, but I'm going to use it, that like one throat to choke. So if there's something that you have questions about or is not working the way that you were expecting, then you just have one company to come back to and say, okay, my taxation is not showing up over here when I pull the geo. Then you are calling us and we're going to fix it, versus having to track down where is the problem occurring, where's the line of demarcation, who's going to fix it. You have just one company to come back to.
That's the last question that I've got here. So thank you, Bonnie.
This was a great discussion. I'm really appreciative that you have posted some questions. I would definitely love to continue the discussion with anybody who wants to continue on. And as Justine said, there's a recording available, so you can share it out with all your friends and family who are interested in ERP modernization. But here at Sylogist, we have been working in that Microsoft. We've been serving municipal government customers for over 30 years. We've been working in Microsoft solutions for over 20 years, and really all that experience is coming together and bringing us this best in breed solution for ERP for municipal government and to a relatively underserved market as yourselves in the small to mid-sized space. So I'm hoping that you all agree, and that as you're doing your market research, you engage me, and then we can keep talking. That's it for me, Justine.
All right, thank you, and thank you to everybody for joining.
All right, have a great afternoon.